and welcome to Get Celebritized. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and I am so glad to be with you here tonight and all over Facebook and YouTube and podcast land, all over the world now. And tonight I have a packed show that I am so excited about because I'm going to introduce you to three amazing women. And I love my platform right now to show women especially how they can earn more so they can live more so they can give back more. And tonight is no exception to introducing you to amazing women, amazing entrepreneurs that are doing great things in the world. Also, I'm going to start introducing you to fabulous nonprofit organizations at the end of every show. So hang on to your hats, don't go away, because I'm going to introduce you first to an author who is publishing her book today and launching it. I'm going to introduce you to a matchmaker and a love expert. You're not going to want to miss her. And at the very end, I've got a fabulous woman who is helping the people of Haiti who so need our help. So I'm going to get started right away with my very first guest who we're going to talk about her book launch. Today is the day that Amy Walker, who's an executive business coach, professional speaker, and author, now more than once, and the CEO of Amy Walker Consulting. She is gifted with the understanding people and how to get them to shift, increase productivity, and to utilize their talents to complete company objectives. I know her personally, and I personally want to recommend her to all of you. Amy Walker, come on down.
Hey, welcome. Well, welcome to me. Thank you for having me. Welcome myself.
I love it. Amy, you are fabulous. I love you so much. We just had you over on Atlanta Live on television. You are a powerhouse. You are a Christian mom, a wife, and a mother of 5 boys. So you're doing something special today. Tell us a little bit of who you are and why today is so special.
Today is my release of my debut novel, Cruel Compassions. I'm so excited about this book. So I have published before in the business sphere and leadership and in sales training. But a couple years ago, I could no longer silence the stories that were going on inside my head. And I was like, I just got to write these down, and discovered that I truly have a passion for writing. And when I allowed myself that space to explore creativity and to play and to do something that wasn't in the beginning, wasn't for anyone else, but was just for me, it opened up more creativity in lots of areas of my life, more creativity in my business and in my relationships. And after a while, I thought, I've just got to do something with these books. And so today's the day. Cruel Compassion is on Amazon. It's a really intense thriller. It's very exciting. There's a great love story in there. And so it's got a little bit of everything. It's dystopian. So if you liked The Hunger Games and like Divergent, like The Handmaid's Tale, it's definitely within that genre. And I hope that you'll go and read it and stay up way too late and avoid doing the dishes.
I think it's fantastic. And I remember yesterday when you were telling me about this and you said it's a dystopia. I'm like, okay, that's a new word. And you told me that's the opposite of utopia. And all you had to say was Handmaid's Tale and The Hunger Games. It's like, oh, okay, that kind of clears it up. You know, those are great, popular types of movies too. And you had me at movies. So I'm hoping this.
Someday.
Someday. And you said it's a trilogy. Yeah. So really exciting to get involved in a trilogy. Mm-hmm. Amy, I put down your Facebook. So for people that are listening to it, it's facebook.com/AE King Author. So AE King Author. They can get your book. Put it back up again so I can see it. Amy, put it back up so I can see it.
Oh, the book. Okay.
The book, yeah. So I see it's Cruel Compassions. I couldn't remember the name. Cruel Compassion. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. You are a full-time business consultant. You help business owners get their strategies in place. You're such a great strategist, Amy. I know I was one of your clients for a very long time. You really helped me get those pieces into place that so many solopreneurs just try to do on their own.
Right.
So I want you, before you go, and I just want to give you the first spot of this show, because today was the day you were launching this novel, which is so like it's nothing to do with anything else we do. And I want you to share with the listeners and the viewers, because so many other women, they have a dream that may not have anything to do with their career, their job, their family. It's just something out there. They want to paint the next Mona Lisa. They want to jump out of an airplane. They want to do something for them. And you just did this, Amy. So you have a husband, you have 5 boys. Tell us their ages and give us one tip on how you found the time to make this a reality today.
Well, my boys range in age from 8 to 19, and they are very busy. And I learned from a friend of mine, Dino Watt, that you can't find time, you can't make time, you can't create time. All you can do is dedicate time. And
Ooh, Amy, say that again. That is really good.
You cannot find time, you cannot make time, you cannot create time. All you can do is dedicate time. And it was challenging to say yes to my writing time, because my writing time tends to be early mornings, so like 5 a.m. until maybe 7, and just being consistent when I can and not beating myself up when I can't. Because for so long, I felt like I had to be productive in all things. And for me, this experience of writing is so joyful. On the days when I write, I am just happy. All day long, I'm happy. And so you owe it to yourself to pursue that dream. Even if it doesn't make any sense, there's a reason why you need to do it. And it's called your happiness. And that is a reason enough. So it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to sell. I mean, we hope that it's good. And we
right.
Like, we want that. But really, you're doing this for you. Because you're going to teach your children and the next generation that it's okay to pursue their passions. And so I hope that you'll take whatever that dream is that sounds crazy and impossible and impractical, and just start giving it some time so that you can really experience the joy. It is such a joy.
Amy, you're such a testimony to being able to have it all. You know, as moms, we're wondering, can we balance it all? Can we have it all? But you said the hashtag of the day is dedicating time. We all have the same 180 hours a week as Oprah and Tyler Perry and, you know, all the greats. And it's dedicating the time. And if you with 5 boys can do this, how long did it take you?
Like, I've been working on it for 2 years, not consistently, but you know,
great.
a little here, a little there when I can dedicate time to it. Some seasons more than others, but I've been working on it for about 2 years.
Well, you know, and right now you've launched it. And if you didn't start 2 years ago, you wouldn't be having this day of celebration today. Amy, it's so fun to have you doing something that's just out of the box. You wrote a novel. You wrote something like, you know, the Hunger Games love story, dystopia. I got my new word for the day. So excited. And it's just so great to have you give that to the world. Put that book up one more time. I'm so proud of you. Cruel Compassion. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it as a Netflix TV series, have maybe a special series, a special showing, a Netflix special, or something like that, or maybe a major motion picture trilogy like Harry Potter.
To get there, though, we got to go to Amazon and order the book, because the book's going to sell for the movie to sell. So yeah, go check it out. I would love for you guys to go and read it, and then send me some feedback and tell me what you're loving about it. It's been really fun having great discussions with the readers as well.
I'm so glad. All right. Well, go to Amazon, pick it up. And Amy, best of luck to you. We will be bringing you back, because we want to bring you back on the show in a few weeks to talk about strategies for solopreneurs to turn them from a solopreneur into a CEO of a well-oiled company. So if you guys would like that are listening and watching, don't miss when I bring Amy Walker back to show you how to do it and how to build that team that helps you shine, but everybody wins, because you'll be creating jobs at the same time. Amy, thank you so much for being here. Good luck today. And I'm going to go right after this and get my copy on Amazon. So look up A.E. King and get that Cruel
Compassion.
Compassion. I can't remember that. Thank you, Amy, so much. Have a great rest of your day and night, and good luck.
You too.
Bye. That was so fun having her on, and I hope you will go grab that. And if you've done something amazing, if you stepped out of your comfort zone and have done something out of the box, let me know about it, because I want to know, because we want to support and promote entrepreneurs doing amazing things and sharing with us how you did it. So if Amy Walker can do that with 5 boys, busy schedule through the quarantine, homeschooling and all of that, still by dedicating time to her dream, to her goal, that was a side just a hustle. It wasn't her business. It wasn't something she was doing for money, something she knew she wanted to do for herself, write this novel. And she did it. And today's the day she's launching. So celebrate with us, with an entrepreneur that went outside the box to write that novel. We all have a book inside of us. If that's what you want to do, dedicate time to doing that or whatever it is that's in your heart to do. So now my next guest is going to help you find love when maybe you've given up on it and you're thinking, I'm a lost cause, or maybe you're looking for love for somebody you know who doesn't have love in their life. So my next guest is none other than Flora Ong. Now, she's going to help me pronounce her name correctly in just a moment. ONG. She's a dating coach and matchmaker specializing in love and relationships. She has set up hundreds of matches with 85% success rate. That is amazing all in itself. After a failed 14-year marriage, she joined the millions of online app daters in search for love and some fun. What she found was something she never expected. Let's bring up Flora and let's talk to her and find out if love is absolutely possible for everyone out there. Flora, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
So great. You are more than welcome. Flora, pronounce your last name, please.
It's Ong. It's
Ong.
actually, it's look what's in front of me. It's a Chinese last name. My ex-husband is half Chinese.
Well, I love it. I just want to make sure I pronounce it correctly for the listeners on the podcast. So, Flora, we're going to dig right in. I don't know if you know this, but I used to be a matchmaker when I escaped domestic violence. I went in the Yellow Pages and I was just looking for something different to do, something, I didn't want to just go back to bartending and waitressing or whatever, which I did that for a little while too. But I saw in the Yellow Pages, the dating. I don't know if I opened up to that page or not, but it was Great Expectations. And I don't know if anybody remembers VHS dating videos you put in that TV and you watch it and the tapes get stuck and oh my gosh, my age is showing. But I thought how fun that would be to be a matchmaker. And I'm just really good with people. So I applied for it and I went in, I got it. And I became one of the best matchmakers at Great Expectation, only because I had a knack for helping people see something that they're not going to see. So let's talk about you because I just love this topic. I am such a promoter of dating and matchmaking. I mean, because you cut out all I hope I meet somebody today that has the interest that I have. I mean, what are your chances? So Tell us, Flora, how you got started in this and more about what you do.
Well, I got divorced and after a 14-year marriage, so I had never seen a dating app before, and then I got on dating apps. It was like discovering a whole new world. I felt like I was on Mars or Pluto. You have to manage a whole different ethical standard. People do not act the way that they would act to you in real life. They say things that are inappropriate. They ghost, they breadcrumb. I mean, there's a whole litany of new words that are now have now been invented to explain what goes on these dating apps. And so I had my own trials and tribulations with that. And because of that, at the same time, after I got divorced, I studied to be a health and life coach. And with my trials and tribulations in dating, I realized that was a much better place for me to coach from because it was something I really had experience with. And I understood the struggles that people, were having.
What year did you get divorced?
2016.
Okay, so relatively, recently, I'm trying to think of the apps that are in play and things like this. So talk to the listeners and the viewers about what was out there when you did get divorced and what frustrated you about it and how you make it different and more of a good experience for people.
Well, I mean, the apps that are out there are the big three, like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, right? And they're essentially swiping apps. People think Hinge is a little different, but essentially you're just in a phone talking to a phone, right? So
okay.
You're you end up having conversations, and I think a lot of people go through a very similar process after they get divorced on these apps that, you end up in text relationships sometimes, right? You end up in virtual relationships sometimes. You end up thinking that you're in love or that you have feelings for somebody that you've never actually met. And you don't even know if this person's a catfish or not, right? There's all that side of it too.
Flora, explain to the viewers, listeners that may not know what what catfishing is.
So catfishing is when somebody posts fake pictures and then they are not the person that's in the pictures, but they're talking to you as though they are.
So the imposters. Is it actually stolen identity or just a fake picture with their name?
It is somewhat of a stolen. No, it's not a stolen identity, and it's not social security number, right? But it is a fake pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it must be so rough out there. Okay.
I mean, it's not really, because I haven't really experienced too many like catfishing things. And, you know, the thing that I want to say is I had a really fun experience. While also I had a trying experience, but the trying experience had a lot to do with my relationship to myself. And really, ultimately, that's what my coaching practice is about, right? It's really learning to have a better relationship with yourself so that you don't fall into all of the the little problems that you can find with online dating, because when you have a secure relationship with yourself, you do not fall for the guy that's love bombing you, right? Or like, you know, telling you how wonderful you are, and then, you know, he's ready to leave the next, you know, you're starting him, you know.
Oh my God. So your focus then, Flora, is it more on being a matchmaker or more on being a life coach to get people ready to find love?
Well, it's both, really. And so as a matchmaker, I work for a really wonderful company called 3 Day Rule.
Wait, you broke up. It was, I lost you into the matrix, as we say on Clubhouse. It's redo.love. So it's redo.love for those who are listening, redo.love. So that's the matchmaking platform.
No, that's my coaching practice.
Coaching. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Redo.love. Tell us about that.
Okay. So essentially it's a 6 to 12 week program. You can choose either 6 weeks or 12 weeks that helps you to get so centered around yourself that love comes naturally, right? You don't have to try anymore. You don't have to make an effort at it. You don't have to get disappointed. And that's really the focus of the program. The focus of the program is really finding yourself. And that's the idea of redoing love. It's instead of, having that external love that we're all craving so bad. It's really when you love yourself, people love you too, right? So
yeah, you really just solved the pain right there. In marketing, we're always talking about, tell us the pain you solve, lead with the pain. That's one of the pains, though, finding love and effortlessly and making it more so less complicated and so less painful to find love, because first you deal with the person loving themselves. So then it comes, love finds you, which I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What a great way.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of, because sometimes solve our loneliness or our inability to deal with ourselves or be with ourselves by finding somebody else, right? We're a lot of times just looking for the distraction of another person so that we don't have to be alone. And when you are able to be alone, when you're happy being alone, when you're, like thriving in that state, people are just naturally attracted to you, right?
So when you do that, I really like to give the listeners and viewers some extra nuts and bolts in this Get Celebritized. Things they're not going to learn anywhere else, or maybe give them a little secret insight to what they would learn by being with you. So that all sounds wonderful. We work on ourselves. That's great. But can you give us like a secret tip of something that they would work on by coming to you? Like what is a revelation or something that you have them work on to help them get ready to find love or to help love find them better?
So one of the things that we work on is your attachment style. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's really my focus. So my focus is attachment styles as a way to understand your subconscious.
Really?
And so our subconscious is responsible for about 90 to 95% of all of our actions and behaviors and our reactions. And so it comes up a lot, obviously, in love relationships, right? Because we're triggered a lot, right? We get nervous that the person's going to leave. We really like someone. We want them to stay. Some people get triggered by love in the completely opposite way. They're like, oh, too much, scary, they move away from it, right? And when you understand what your attachment style is, you can understand what your coping mechanisms are and what your natural needs are and your natural tendencies, and then work on that in order to get into a relationship and then in order to stay in a relationship as well.
So, twofold question on this. Do you have a test or a way to diagnose, but to find out what your attachment style is? Kind of like, I do sales and marketing and I help people find out their personality style so they can be better in sales and coaching and things like that.
Right.
So, one, is there a test they take? And two, is there, how does that work? So do you match make people once you know that there's one attachment style that's better to be with a different, let's say there's A, B, and C, that the A's go best with the C's and the C's should never date a B. Tell me how it works a little bit.
So, yes, I have a quiz, and the quiz is on the website, which is listed right there. So you can just pop onto there. It's called an attachment style quiz. And
great. So you have a free one right there on your website?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody go to her website. How fun. I love quizzes and tests, and that's no obligation right there. Redo.love. Go there now. Okay.
Exactly. And then do I match people? Okay, so as a matchmaker, I do want to say that I work for a wonderful company called 3 Day Rule. And we
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
I work for a wonderful company called 3 Day Rule as a matchmaker. Yes, I want. Yeah, I want to just shout them out because they're great. We represent 12 cities across the country, and we're broadening and expanding, all the time. So anybody that is interested can go to my Instagram links in bio and hit the matchmaking button and fill out a free profile for our database. And you can just be in our database and match up with clients. So you asked me about
before you go in and out just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you go in and out just a little bit. I want to make sure the listeners can hear you because they got that matrix thing going on right now.
Okay.
So I always want to let you know if we can hear you or not. So on Instagram, are you under Flora? Your name, Flora Ong?
I'm at redo.love.
You're at redo.love. Let me put that up, but that's also on Instagram. So redo.love on Instagram to connect with you. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And do I match people with their attachment styles? It's not so easy because not everybody takes the quiz, but it is kind of really important to know which attachment styles you match better with because if two of the wrong attachment styles without knowing anything about it, that's when you get crazy toxic relationships, that like there's this constant fighting, but you think you're in love, but there's constant fighting, but you think you're in love, those?
Yeah. How many attachment styles are there?
There's 4 attachment styles. One of them is secure, which is the big like one that everybody like wants to be, right? Or it's the ideal thing to be. And then the other 3 are insecure attachment styles, and it is all based on how you were emotionally attuned to as a baby, really. And it's, what I love about attachment styles versus the love languages, for example, is that it's an actual psychological, scientifically proven thing. They've done like hundreds and hundreds of attachment style tests to kind of reprove that this is like real and accurate and it stands. And it's written up in all the medical journals and stuff, or all the psychological journals. So it's every single person that was born has an attachment style, and it's basically the way that you learn to attach to people via the way that you were raised, and it kind of dictates how you will be in a relationship. If you tell me how your parents raised you, I will tell you how your relationships go, probably.
Does it kind of go back to like the mama boy, if you marry a mama's boy or something, and that's how he's raised, it's going to be that type of situation. Watch how guys treat their mothers.
That plays into it, right? But it's more that if your parents paid like the right amount of attention to you in the right way, that you then know how to pay attention to people in the right way. You know how to deal with conflict, right? Because your parents showed you how to deal with conflict, right? Conflict didn't necessarily mean that there was something bad or horrible happening. It just meant that there was something to resolve, right? So a lot of times in relationship, people, when there's conflict, they get very nervous, they get very agitated, or they completely shut down, right? Like I don't know if you've been in relationships with people that are just like non-confrontational, don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Yeah. And a lot of that goes back all the way back to how you were raised and how you were taught to deal with it.
Well, Flora, that puts a lot of pressure on the parents and how they were brought up. So if you are one of the four, everybody's one of four attachment styles.
Right.
You've got the insecure, the secure, and we're going to talk about the other two in a second. But let's say people come to you and they have not had good childhood, because I know I work with a lot of, domestic violence situations, a lot of people that, were homeless or been, adopted and it wasn't a good situation, or foster care or whatever. Is there hope that if you are a not so desirable attachment, maybe because of insecurities, because your childhood was not good, is there hope for them to get secure and have, good, strong relationships? Because so many people I know didn't have good upbringing. So does that derail them forever, or is there hope?
There's hope, and that's what I do.
Yay,
I help people work through their attachment style issues. And just to say, there's no wrong or right attachment style. There's a way that you learn to cope, right? So it's not understanding what your coping mechanisms are helps you understand how you will act in relationship. And either you like that part of yourself, or it's something that you want to work on, and then you get to work on it, But if you don't even know if you don't know that that's where you're acting from, right? If you just think, well, this is just, a lot of people are like, this is just how I am.
Right.
Not exactly.
You leave me.
Right.
You get what you get. You don't pitch a fit.
Right. Right. So it's not, that's not really the case, right? We can all work on ourselves, and we can all change, and we can all adjust to be better. But it's all about you having the clarity of what's happening so that you can choose which way you want to be better.
And what are the other two attachment styles?
So there's the secure, which is the big base, and everybody wants to move towards secure, right? But then there's anxious, avoidant, and fearful avoidant. And so briefly, I will say that your anxious person is the person that is a little bit more clingy, needs a lot of reassurance in relationship, likes a lot of attention, likes external validation a lot, right? They are the ones that romanticize like second date, and they're like, oh, I'm so in love, and this is, like he's the best
right away.
Yeah, she's the best, and and they're waiting for that phone call and can't stop thinking about it, that kind of person. The avoidant person is the person who is probably charismatic and doesn't really have any deep relationships, or doesn't have many very deep intimate relationships. They kind of shut down, around the 2-3 month mark when somebody wants something from them, or when somebody's ready to commit. They're kind of like, no, not ready to commit. They're more than likely, sorry, God.
That's okay. Okay.
I'm just trying to decline, the technology sometimes takes way longer.
It happens. It's all part of working from home. It's all good these days. After 2020, anything goes.
I know, right? Like, forget professionalism.
The dogs bark, the kids cry. It's all good. Give everybody hope.
Yeah, so you're avoidant person, and if you're going to assign it like a character, it would be your kind of playboy type character that never really settles down, or Sure. And then the fearful avoidant person is that person that's kind of hot and cold in relationship, right? That they seem to want the relationship a lot, and then they pull back.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In walks Flora, and you've worked with lots of people, and you have this wonderful 85% success rate. So can you tell us, and without saying names, of course, any kind of success stories, some personal love stories, maybe somebody that came to you just totally messed up, like the majority of us all are, right? But just, not thinking there was hope, and you worked with them, and tell us any kind of love story on some of these couples or people that have come in and have found love and have worked through it. Give us hope. Come on, give us hope, Flora. I mean, I've been married 25 years, so I'm so excited. I'm happy after divorce, domestic violence. But I did go to a matchmaker. I went to a dating club, to be a matchmaker. And then I found somebody that was so much like me in the video dating because we had so much in common. So I was able to find somebody who was, a former stunt man that liked to rollerblade, that it was really, we just had all this stuff in common. And before you know it, we bloomed as a friendship. And then now we've been married 25 years. So I'm a big promoter of matchmaking and finding out. You cut out 6 months of, trying to figure everybody out when you automatically in the beginning know your likes, your dislikes, your non-negotiables. Do you want kids, not want kids, all this stuff. And I remember a lot of the guys would come to the club saying they didn't want a woman that already had children. Now, this was back in the 90s. They have evolved since then. I believe that maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe not. I mean, otherwise you're not going to find a woman, guys. If you're trying to find one that really good one, doesn't have kids, you're really just, you're banking up such a tree that has so much few less flowers there. Yeah. And the women really wanted a man with a job. And again, I say you can't go that route anymore either after all the turns and twists we've had since 2009 and since the pandemic. There's great guys out there, great gals that don't have jobs. And I don't think that has anything to do with how they could be a match for you. So taking kids off the table and taking jobs off the table, because that's just, unless it really is, you just don't want to date somebody that has somebody else's children. That is a personal choice. But when I was able to get them over that, I made some really great matches because they had everything else in common. Everything else, they came to me, they said, Aurea, this is my dream woman. Aurea, this is my dream man or dream partner. And I said, this person has that, but you're saying you don't want to meet them because of this one thing. They were the same, religious background. They were the same political background. I mean, all these things that could make them go awry, they had everything in common. So when I was able to bring that together, I really had some great successes. So tell me about some of your great successes. We want to hear love stories.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you're saying, just because people put these lists together and they don't realize that what they're actually doing is blocking themselves sometimes, right? If they're not making the list in the right way. And, that's something I do in my program as well, is help people to make the list in a way that will actually get them what they want versus these fake little things,
Yeah,
right. So the success story. So one of my favorite success stories is I coached a woman who came to me. She was actually a therapist, and she was in this toxic relationship that she kept going back to for like 5 years or so. She couldn't really seem to get out of the loop of going back to it constantly. And when she came to me, she said, I know you're going to tell me to block him on all the social media. And I said, no, of course I'm not going to tell you to block him. Like, why would I, if I tell you, you're just going to open it up when you feel like it anyway. It doesn't matter, And so through the process of our 6 weeks, we, she was still kind of here and there in touch with him. He would call, she would respond, this kinds of thing. But she felt a lot better. She had a really great transformational experience through the 6 weeks. But by the end of the 6 weeks, I didn't know if she was still in touch with this guy or not. A month later, I checked in with her just to see how she's doing, because I always like to see how everybody's getting along afterwards. And she said that she had blocked this guy, and it wasn't this big thing. It was just kind of like, I just don't care anymore. I'm just not interested anymore. And she was now dating somebody who had been in her life for a very long time. That was a friend that she couldn't even see what a wonderful guy he was, because she had this guy standing in her way of the relationship that she was really meant to have. And so now she's happily, I think it's a year later, she's happily dating this guy. And and they're having a really nice relationship. So yeah.
Flora, you bring up a great point that I've always made, is especially, because I talk to a lot of domestic violence nonprofits about, not just escaping domestic violence, but how to avoid it in the first place, which comes down to, picking the right person and saying no to the people that aren't right for you. And when so many times it's like we love the man or have a crush on the man or infatuated with the guys that treat us bad and we know they're not right for us. It's such a, playing games, but they're cute or they got this, or we're just, in lust with them or whatever. But then we have this really great guy that's our guy best friend. And we're like, oh, we'd never think about being attracted to him. He's so good to me. We're best friends. And you guys are like perfect for each other, but he's in the friend zone. So why don't you, since we talk about the women a lot, give some advice to the guy guys that might be listening, that if they're stuck in that friend zone and they really would like to get out of it with that friend, what are some things they can do to get out of the friend zone, to become attractive to that girl instead of just being their BFF?
Well, I think, part of what keeps a guy in the friend zone is that he's probably not making the moves that he's supposed to be making, right?
Be specific. It's okay. It's after hours. No.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put yourself out there, man or woman. You got to put yourself out there, and you got to take the chance. And women more and more, and I say this confidently as a matchmaker, women like assertive men, not aggressive, right?
Strong, but, secure,
right, and assertive, and somebody who's willing to say how they feel and not, back down from that. And men have been, in between the Me Too movement and all of the issues we've had kind of tearing down men lately in, the media and kinds of society, men have really pulled back a lot, right? And I think that they kind of are afraid, not only afraid of their feelings, but they're also afraid, just in general, of how it's going to come across. So we got to move past that, and and let people know, let women know.
Make you
how
move, guys.
Yeah,
make you move.
Yeah, and what people always ask me about, what are my rules? I have no rules for dating, none. Because each person has to make their own, right? Like, this is very specific, right? It's specific to you. And so what I do is I help people come to their own boundaries and standards and all that. But I do have one rule. And the one rule is that you always have to be willing to lose the match, the date, the boyfriend, the husband, anybody in your life that is not, that is taking away from you.
Wow.
Right. So I say that to say that, like, with a guy in a situation like that is in the friend zone, if he wants to get out of the friend zone, he's got to be willing to, to put it out there and to lose potentially the friendship,
Wow.
And you got to decide whether, what's more important to you.
I feel, tell me if you agree or not, if you are really, really best friends with a girl, and whether you're young, whether you're middle-aged, doesn't matter, because I know I have those good guy friends that are in that friend zone. And if you do make the move, and then let's say it gets a little awkward for a little while, it doesn't work out, I still believe that would come back around full circle, that you would, it could be awkward for a little bit, but you'd come back around and be friends again. Because if that was so special, which it probably is, I think that you'd both come back around and get back in that friend zone again. I know that's happened to me, that that friend was able to come back in, and friends for life, or friends for a season until you both go off and get married. But I think friendship is a really strong emotion, and I think real friends just will always be friends. You might have some rough patches, might lose for a while, but I still think that it would come back if that was a true friendship, because you really don't want to lose a friend that's like that. So my philosophy is like, you give it a whirl. If it doesn't work, just go back to being friends. Got to make that pact. All right, let's try it, and then if it doesn't, kind of think of the TV show Friends. Joey and Rachel, they tried, and then you're back to the friend zone. It's all good.
Yeah.
Certain people, I think, are strong enough to do that.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. And I just think that the point is that women respect that assertiveness, and that somebody that's making the move and willing to take that action, right? And even if to your point, even if the friendship kind of goes away for a little while, it will come back around if that grounding of the friendship was strong enough.
Exactly. Well, Flora, this has been so much fun, so exciting, and I love it. So I'm going to tell them again, for those who are listening as well, that your website is redo.love. You can take the quiz there to find out what kind of attachment personality you have. And then from there, Flora, can they get a hold of you? Is there a way do you have a free consultation? Because as soon as you answer that question, I'm going to ask you 5 closing rapid fire questions that everybody's going to want to know from you. So tell us what they do after they go to your website and take the quiz. What comes next?
What comes next is they can sign up for a free consultation with me as well, for a free clarity call. And then I do have a group program that I'm running at the end of September. So anybody is welcome to join that. And I do one-on-one coaching as well.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I hope everybody reaches out to you and does a test. Well, what have you got to lose? Or maybe you know a friend or know somebody who needs to find love because maybe they're the last one in your circle of friends that doesn't have a partner and they need to find love, especially after this pandemic. I know there's been a lot of divorces. There's been a lot of, separations, and maybe it's time for them to, pivot on the relationship side, and as we're all had to pivot on the business side. So I'm so glad you came on, Flora, because love is so important now more than ever. And I just highly recommend anybody that's looking for love, would like to be happy, to reach out to you. And again, my philosophy, what do you have to lose? Give it a try, see what she could offer you, and see if love is out there for you, because I know it is. So, Flora, as a matchmaker, I'm going to ask you 5 questions for some rapid fire answers, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
I think.
They're fun. They're fun. Don't worry, they're painless. All right. A fun one is a TV show or a movie that impacted your life or your career.
Oh my God. One of my favorite movies is The Goonies.
The Goonies?
You remember that?
Yes. Yes. Why? What was about it that impacted you?
I mean, I think it's just, the kinds of that sense of adventure, that childhood, like innocence and naivete, but really, just the kinds of that sense of adventure and seeing what's out there. And I always love exploration and discovery. So.
Fantastic. All right. Best first date ever.
Best first date ever was this, the simplest date ever. The guy invited me on a hike and brought champagne. Ooh. And this was right after I got divorced, and one of my big complaints about my husband was that he never remembered anything and I had to do everything. And this guy remembered the cups. See,
guys, it's as simple as remembering the cups. Don't forget the champagne too. That's beautiful. That really brings it down.
Yeah.
Guys sometimes think it's so complicated. It's got to be a hot air balloon or whatever.
Right.
It's a hike with champagnes, and don't forget the cup. All right. Biggest turnoff a man could do.
Biggest turnoff a man could do is lead with the sexual stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, especially on the apps and yeah.
Sure, good one. All right, 2 more. Most romantic gift idea.
Most romantic gift idea. I think really just listening to the woman and getting her something that relates to something that she's talked about, right? Whether it's
Flora, yes,
music she likes, or whether it's a candle or a massage or whatever it is that you've heard her talk about. But the more personal, the more special. It doesn't have to be big, like we just talked about.
Yeah, Flora, you're good, because that's so important, especially to women, that they listen, because that's the biggest thing. You never listen. I mean, you just said that about your husband, just your ex-husband, that he just didn't, remember those things.
Right.
So listen out, guys, and girls too. Same goes for us ladies. Listen and give the gift that is something special that they have mentioned, and it'll be so special when you say, wow, you remember that, or you heard that? Oh, I love that. Last but not least, I love to ask all my guests this question. How do you want to be remembered?
Oh,
what's your legacy?
Oh my God, these questions are so hard. I wish I prepared.
The fun part.
My legacy, for me, relationships are really important. Surprise, surprise. And I just want people to remember me as a good friend and somebody that was very loving and kind. Yeah.
Well, Flora, you're already on your way to do that. And I believe that people are going to remember you for helping put love into the world and helping people find love, which makes the world such a better place. You are a friend to all and helping others make new friends, whether it turns out to be a love match or just another friend in their life, because that happens too. Flora, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for bringing love into the world. People need it now more than ever. And please, everyone, go to redo.love. Get your free quiz, get to know Flora, have a conversation. If you or somebody you know is looking for a special person in their life, Flora, you are amazing. I'm so glad for, I'm going to put this up, Clubhouse, because Clubhouse is where we met. If you're not on the Clubhouse app, you are missing meeting people like Flora, Flora, and like myself, because we're there having these conversations all the time, weekends, weeknights. And so come on, join the conversation. Flora, thank you so much for being on the show.
So great to be here.
So good to have you. Appreciate you. Keep it up. Keep helping people find love. That is the most important 4-letter word we can do. Thank you again. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Now, don't go away because I am ending our show with something so important. If you have been watching the news, whether you are listening to this podcast or show 3 years down the road or listening to it right now live, it is 2021. It is August 25th, and Haiti is in a disarray. And just a couple of weeks ago, God put it on my heart to use my 60th birthday, which is coming up October 7th, 2021, because I don't know when you're going to be listening to this. I'll be 60, and it's okay for me to tell my age because I want to make an impact and make a difference because I don't need another thing in my life, but I wanted to help others. So God was very clear with me to help my dear friend Linda Gunter with her nonprofit that's helping the people of Haiti. And 2 weeks later, after I committed this, Haiti, the president of Haiti was assassinated. The first lady was shot. Now, y'all know just like a week ago, they had a 7.2 earthquake. And just last week, they had floods and storms. And oh my gosh, it could not have gotten any more real for my birthday wish. So I'm bringing up right now the one and only Linda Gunter, the founder of Love Him, Love Them. Please listen in. Please hear her heart, how she's helping children, orphans that are literally walking the streets tonight with no shelter, no water, no food, and how all of us can help with just a very little bit of effort. Linda, come on up. Linda!
Hi! How are you?
You look gorgeous, darling.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm amazing. Nothing like following a love chick.
Yeah, there you go. Love chick. And
A
as
love
we're
chick
finding
and then
love,
love them.
right, love him, love them, talking about love. And what a better way to end the show with how we can show love to humanity and people that aren't worried about finding match made in heaven. They're worried about finding the love of water, of nutrients, of food, of clothes. So Linda, in the last few minutes of this show that we have, I want you to just tell us in a nutshell what you do and how we can help. And let's do this.
So my name is Linda Gunter, and I am the volunteer CEO and co-founder of an organization called Love Him, Love Them. And if you'd like to know how we came about, because it was never my dream to have anything to do with any foreign country. I'd never been on a mission trip. Not a mission trip kind of girl. I'm more of a Hilton or a Hyatt kind of girl. But God took my world and wrecked it. And that whole story is in our book called Peanut Butter, Crackers, and Flip-Flops. So if you ever want to spend an evening just laughing and crying and being heavily impacted, I highly recommend you get that. That's on our website, lovehimlovethem.org, or Amazon or Kindle or anywhere.
Right.
But to fast forward, my life completely changed on the 17th day of the 7th month of the year 2007, when children the ages of 7 to 17 who were Haitian came into my family and came into my life. And that took me to Haiti, and that's what started our ministry. That was on Christmas Day, 2011. And we have since that time now have 6 different locations. We actually brought one of our orphanages, 30 children from one of our orphanages in Haiti, here to the United States as the Haitian Orphan Children's Choir. They traveled up and down the East Coast for 3 different summer tours. And now we actually have 22 of those 30 children who had the opportunity to stay here in the United States on student visas, or they're in the process of being adopted. Now, all of that to say, we currently have a guest house. We have a vocational school. We opened up a hospital, which I was just right before I came on, Aurea, I was looking at pictures from some of the patients that we had in our hospital today. And this Sunday, you did mention the date, so I feel free to do that.
Yes, please do.
This Sunday is August 29th, and that makes the 1-year anniversary of our hospital opening, which everybody said you couldn't do anything in 2020. But Love Him, Love Them took that to a whole new level, because what is impossible with man is possible with God. And God wanted to make that very clear.
And Linda, that's one reason I tell everybody, because people kind of can be leery about nonprofits, especially like overseas or other places. You know, does the money really get there? And I let everybody know you are hands on the ground. You have your team down there. You've been down there many times, and you build this with your own hands down there, and you get this stuff done. So I am totally highly recommending everybody to tap into you because you're there. There's no middleman.
Yeah.
There's no politics, nothing.
No, I was just there actually.
Yes.
In April at the embassy with some of our other children. So yeah, so our nonprofit, we started Aurea when we went in 2011, and we were basically, our world was just wrecked based by what we saw, by what we smelled. We knew then that we had to do something. And here we were in America with 5 children that were Haitian, and they wanted to do something. And so it was all grassroots. Everything started around our dining room table. And we went from nothing to, like I said, the 6 locations, and we partnered together to feed thousands of children every day. And as you mentioned, on August the 14th at 8:30 a.m., a 7.2 magnitude earthquake did hit Haiti. 1.2 million people felt the effects of that. All 6 of our locations felt it. But praise God, our particular areas were not damaged because of the I always say Haiti is like a hand, and then there's the finger sticking out, and it was the finger area of where the earthquake hit this time.
Really?
So even though it was a stronger earthquake, because it was in that smaller area, there were hundreds of thousands of people that were impacted. We now currently have 30,000 people that are homeless, children in the streets. And then, as you know, not only from that one earthquake, but 2 additional earthquakes hit that day. And then we had 2 storms come in, one named Fred and then Grace. We were all hoping it was going to be the grace of God, but it was not the grace of God that came through. It was the tropical depression storm that came through, Grace.
Yeah, one thing right after another with Haiti. And so are you able, since you're still standing in the part of Haiti that you're at, are you finding that people are able to get to you? Are they walking towards you?
No, we're getting to them.
You're getting to them.
So we are, because I mean, just like here, you live in South Georgia, I live in North Georgia, but we know each other.
Right.
Same way in Haiti. So we have people that, even though we're over here, there are people here that we have family members. One of our churches, at the Church of Daco, there's 20 families there who have families in Jeremy. Jeremy is where the epicenter of the earthquake, that lost their homes, lost everything. Now, because of our partnership with Feed the Hunger, we had food on the ground. And because of our hospital, we had medical supplies on the ground. So we were able to get those out. And the other huge benefit that we have is we work with pastors all over the country of Haiti. We partner with Samaritan's Purse with these shoe boxes, and people on our administration also partner there. I've been down there several times to train for Samaritans and do the discipleship. So all of our pastors that come to our evangelism conferences or any of our trainings have reached out and said, hey, we need food, we need water, we need solar batteries, we need inverters, we need all of those things are currently available in Haiti, and we've actually sent funds down already to purchase all of that. But then they also need tents, metal tarps, and medical supplies, and those 3 things are not available in Haiti. So we actually were going to fly a plane down last week, but we ran into some difficulties about where the supplies would actually go once they reached the airport. I know it would be hard to believe that something might go awry in Haiti, but
you think?
Yeah.
Well, if anybody can get it done, Linda, you can. You absolutely are.
So instead, we've got a container going down. So September the 4th, if you want to do something hands-on, you can come to Northeast Georgia and put the medical supplies and the tents and the tarps on the container. We have a volunteer driver. We run completely by volunteers, so every penny you give goes directly to Haiti. Actually, the container was donated. The drivers donated, so it will go straight from Northeast Georgia. We've already got it booked to ship that following Monday, Labor Day. So if you want to do something special and different on Labor Day, head on up here, and then that will be down in Haiti by that Wednesday.
Linda, thank you so much. Now, Linda's going to be back. So listeners and viewers, don't worry. Linda is somebody that's so close to my heart because she's doing such great things down there in Haiti. So this is not going to be just a one time and we're never going to see her again. She will be back. But for now, we've got like 30 seconds left and I'm dedicating this time for her. Please go to lovehim.org, whether you're watching or listening to this in 2021 or in 2025. They will always need your help in Haiti. That is a guarantee. So please go there. And for right now, go look for my picture if you're looking at this or watching this in 2021, because my birthday wish for my 60th birthday, which is October 7th in 2021, I'm raising $60,000 for them. And we are getting closer by the day and by the moment by such great people. like yourselves that are listening and watching, because, you know, it only takes less than $3 a day to raise an orphan in Haiti. So, Linda, come back. We've got to close up now. I hope you all love this show, Get Celebritized, where we earn more so we can live more, so we can give back more to wonderful people like Linda, the children of Haiti, and love him, love them.org. Good night, everybody, from us, and we will be back again soon. And thank you so much. See you next time on Get Celebritized.